Guys, welcome back to Behind the Beauty. I am so excited. I always say I'm so excited, but I am very excited.
I'm more excited than you.
To have Kerry Hite, licensed medical esthetician, back on here. Kerry was originally our first guest and probably our most popular, most downloaded guest.
What?
Yes.
You don't think it was because of the giveaway?
No, I think it's because you're not brand affiliated in any way.
Oh, see? I'm never going to be brand. Well, I'm kind of brand affiliated, but I'm not that brand affiliated.
Yeah, like you're brand affiliate because you truly believe in the products and
because I work with it every day.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, the first 3 episodes were with Kerry Hite, and she used to own a really successful spa and salon, essentially.
Art gallery.
Art gallery. It was a true salon. It had hair. It had spa services in terms of facials, waxing, everything.
Sunless tanning, body treatments. We had haircuts, color highlights. What else?
You had massages?
We briefly had massage. It didn't really go very well. I even had a astrologer on staff at one point.
That's such a Kerry thing to have.
I totally had it. I thought it was the coolest thing. This chick came to apply for a job to be my receptionist, and on her resume, I'm like, "You're an astrologer?" And she's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh my God, we're gonna offer astrology services," but they wouldn't let me in the city of Burbank.
Really?
They said I have to get a psychic arts license. And I'm like, what? She's not a psychic. She's an astrologer. It's totally different.
Yeah, it's different because astrology is actually like it's not
about it's astrology is
science.
the study of the planets.
Yeah.
Why do you need a psychic arts license for that?
Anyways, we digress.
Like 50 more times.
I know. So Kerry, not only you were an esthetician long before you decided to start your own business and employ
I've
others.
been an esthetician for 23 years.
Yes. And you've worked with tons of different brands. You're not just an esthetician, though. You constantly are educating yourself on what's coming out. And
I am. I'm now studying to be an aromatherapist.
Oh.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I did take a intro to aromatherapy. I've been studying aromatherapy, though, ever since I became an esthetician.
Yeah, because it goes hand in hand.
It's very, very involved. They go together. And the first line I work with was Aveda.
Yeah.
And Aveda is the art and science of pure flower and plant essences. So it's really all aromatherapy. And so and when I had the salon, I always had aromatherapy products in the salon. Mm-hmm. I mean, the entire time. So I've always loved aromatherapy, and it's always been very supportive for me in a lot of ways. So I decided recently, I'm like, it's time. I feel like it's time
to officially do it.
Yeah. Last year I got really passionate about making bread, which has nothing to do with beauty. But I got really into making bread, and I was taking all these bread classes all over the place. And then I was like, okay, let's focus on beauty again a little more.
If you ever meet Carrie in real life, like she'll just take random courses. But it kind of all works out too. So
well, it's beauty and health. I mean, they are all related, beauty and health. And
we touched about that on the last time you were a guest, which was in the 3rd episode. We touched about how your internal digestion and all that.
Yeah. And I think we mentioned like I had gotten sick at one point, and everyone was like, oh, I got to go gluten-free. And I didn't have a gluten sensitivity. I had a rice sensitivity.
By the way, did you know I have a gluten sensitivity? I didn't believe it, but
that's
she's
so
like,
sad.
I know, because everything has gluten in it.
Well, but I have a theory about that too. I mean, unless you're truly celiac, I wonder how much of it is the processed gluten.
It's the process
because if I made you bread,
I'd
you
be
probably
fine.
could eat it.
No, I'm telling you guys, I don't believe I don't have celiac. And they never said I do. I have a U.S. sensitivity to gluten. And what I mean by U.S. is the stuff that we put into our gluten.
I mean, bread is highly, highly processed.
Yeah. And I do know I have I have processed food allergies. Like it just wreaks havoc on, I think we all do, really. But
are you still drinking your what's it called? You goats?
Colt?
I can never remember the name of it.
No, I'm not, but I'm doing the Organic Pharmacy 10-day detox. So apparently I thought I should stay away from dairy, and they're like, no, you can have dairy, but guess what vegetables you can't have? Broccoli, asparagus, artichokes, and those, and Brussels sprouts. The 4.
Is it like a FODMAP diet?
No, it's not a diet. It's just me. I like my actual body.
Measured you.
Yeah. And
cool.
Those are the only vegetables I like.
Well, and according to the philosophy that I follow, that's why you're sensitive to them, because you've overconsumed those foods.
That would make sense. And the thing is,
because when I had my food sensitivity test, all the foods I registered sensitive to are all foods I overconsumed.
Well, and so she said just cut back on it for 4 weeks, and then we will revisit it.
And then you just don't eat them all the time.
Yeah, and she said, she's like, look, you can have it, just don't. That can't be your only source of vegetables. So anyways, again, we digressed.
And I think we talked about that on the last podcast. I think we talked about having, like, if you eat chicken one day, eat beef the next, if you eat meat. But like I think it's one of the problems that vegans or vegetarians have is eating tofu or soy products every day.
Well, soy is very heavily processed.
Right. That's true too.
But you do have to vary. And I think, what about skincare? Do you believe that we get used to our skincare?
I hate that expression. We get used to it. I don't think that's it at all.
What do you think it is? Because I truly believe if I use something too long, sometimes the effectiveness wears off.
Right. Yes. I suppose that's another way. I like that better.
The effectiveness.
I don't like your skin gets used to it. I don't know. That's just, maybe it's just semantics for me, but I've never liked that. I use 1 or 2 cleansers, and I just alternate them just at random. If I'm really honest, I use the one that is going to expire soon on my shelf. Because I sell product. Yeah. So I'm like, oh man, this product is old. I better use it. So on my skin, I probably always use old product. Isn't that fucked up? Oops, I did it.
It's okay.
That's totally messed up, but I usually use the oldest product. And it's fine. I mean, that's another thing that I don't think we talked about. But expiration dates on products?
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to do a blog post because I get asked a lot, like, how long do products last?
You know what? The expiration date on products is just a legal requirement. And manufacturers do that so they can protect themselves. But most of the time, it's total garbage. You'll know if a product's bad.
Okay, so because here's the thing, product goes bad. Like, I've bought lipstick and then it just goes bad.
Well, so product goes bad that's been exposed.
Yeah.
So all the skincare that I use is in a tube or a pump. So it doesn't get exposed. So everything I pump out is clean, and it's never been
exposed to air. So, okay, so if it's not exposed to air,
if it's in a jar and you put your fingers in it, it's going to go bad.
Any jar product, even if you don't put your fingers in it, anytime you open it, it's air. But anything that isn't constantly being exposed to air should be okay.
Should be fine. And a lot of manufacturers make what they call airless pumps, where the floor of the product raises up.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like an elevator. So the product inside, because another thing that happens with products, and I'm going to digress again, this just happened to me with my dogs. I bought my dog salmon oil for their coat, because it's supposed to be really, really good for their skin and their coat, and I read a lot about it. And never once did I read that once you open it, you have to refrigerate it, or it goes rancid.
Oh, it makes sense.
I think I was poisoning my dogs for like a week. No, I'm not kidding. The other night I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking about, like, we were gone and we had a house sitter, and she's like, the dog's been drinking a lot of water, and I think it's the salmon oil. And I'm like, that makes no sense. So I'm lying in bed and I go and look on Amazon where I bought it, and I read all the description. I'm like, well, it looks fine. And then I go and read on the Q&A, and it says must be refrigerated in very small type on the bottle. And I didn't pay attention.
I mean, it makes sense because it's a fish oil, but ew.
I was so upset. So what happened in the product is, as you pumped it out, the air, it's that air in the product that allowed it to go bad. If the salmon oil was in a product like the beauty industry makes with a movable floor, it would never have gone bad. But it's the oxygen, the salmon oil.
Okay.
I think my dogs are fine, but I was really freaking out that I maybe damaged their kidneys or liver, and that's why they're drinking so much water, is to try to flush.
They're fine.
So middle of the night, I'm lying there and I'm on my phone, and my fiance,
congratulations.
Thank you. He says, are you really still up? Because he has to get up really early in the morning. He's a trauma nurse. And I said, yes, I'm still up. And he's like, what? And I go, you know what? I'm really stressed out right now. He's like, what is it? And I go, you know what? If I told you, then we'd both get to be stressed out. But now it's just me that gets to be stressed out, and you can go back to sleep. So how about you just do that? And he's like, okay. Because I just thought, if I tell him, then he's not going to be able to sleep either. I was so mad. And so in the morning we had to get up really early, and then I told him what happened, and he was like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "See." But I think that he thinks the dogs are fine.
I think they're fine because dogs quickly like.
But I've been putting rice in their food
Yeah.
to try to help because I think I
Pull
did
it
mess
out.
them up a little bit.
Well, a little bit, you know.
But maybe not at all. Maybe it didn't even go bad because it was so little used. But
Well, I think they're fine. You're keeping an eye on them. But so you think that as long as product isn't exposed to air, it's not really going bad. And especially if it's just sitting on your cabinet unopened, you should be fine.
yes, I mean here are the differences. If you are storing it in your shower and it's really hot, that can affect some products and cause them to separate. You'll generally know when product smells bad, it's usually bad.
Okay.
I have a bunch of product from when I had the shop after I closed the shop that I have all these beautiful, delicious body butters, and they're old. They're really old. They're like, 3-4 years old now. Mm-hmm. But I had some that I just didn't sell or I kept for whatever reason. So I opened up one today, and I'm like, and I can see, visibly I can see that it's separating, and it's a jar.
Oh.
And I looked at it, I'm like, oh, it's separating. And I smelled it, I'm like, that kind of smells like lime and passion fruit. I'm going to use it. Because it's just on my skin, on my body. And I know it's bad, but I'm like, I just wanna
What is
get
wrong
one
with
use out of it, and I'm going
you?
to throw it away. It's so gross. I would never do that to my face.
Do you need body butters or something?
Yes.
Okay, I will give you some body
So
butter.
anyway, but the point is that even I knew it was bad. I mean, this is kind of a good story to tell, that even I knew it was bad and I still used it because I hate that I spent money on this at one point, and that had never been opened, but it's just old.
Well,
and in a jar, it's separated. Even
yeah.
that little bit of oxygen, maybe.
But you also don't know. It could have been really hot in your house when you were out or something. Like,
Yeah, I don't
things
know.
happen. It's 3 years old. It's fine.
It's really old.
It's time to
So
throw it
generally
away.
with the jar, if you open product, you can see the ingredients have separated.
Well, and like you said, you'll smell it, you'll feel it, you'll know if it's gone bad.
If it doesn't smell like lime and passion fruit anymore, and it says lime and passion fruit on it, it's gone rancid.
Well, I feel like lipsticks, you know for sure because it smells funky and then it feels really gross when you're applying it.
I have a bunch of those right now.
Ugh.
I put lip gloss on top.
That's so gross. Stop doing that. I'm like telling the esthetician here to stop putting rancid things on her face.
I have to confess the stupid things I do because everyone listening does something stupid when it comes to beauty and skincare. We all do stupid things.
Okay, so the rotting product that you're applying on your face isn't going to kill you.
On my lipstick?
Yeah.
The reason why I put it on my lips is I'm like, I'm going to bite it off in a second. Which means I'm probably going to eat it, which is also gross because it's rancid. See, I realize this, and I'm going to throw it away. But usually when it goes bad, I'll be like, I think it's bad, but I'm just going to use it one more time, and then I'll throw it away. I have a friend who believes that in a past life, I may have been in the depression because I hoard, and I don't want to throw things away because I might need them.
Well, mine comes from like an emotional need, but
That's true,
like
too.
I have a hoarding problem. It's not so bad anymore because of being married. I've been forced to like purge. Plus, doing my job, like I've been forced to purge because it'll get out of control.
And for me,
too
it was
quickly.
meeting a Marine.
Yeah.
Because when I met him, he had boxes in his kitchen up above the cabinets, all these boxes. I said, what are those boxes for? He said, I could get everything in here packed up in those boxes, and I could move out within 24 hours if I had to. And I'm like, okay, Marine, but you're not getting deployed anytime soon, so you don't need that. He's like, but I could. I could get everything in this house wrapped up in my truck, and I could be out of here in 24 hours. I'm like, what the heck? It's so insane.
But it kind of works for an apocalypse.
I mean, in the apocalypse, I guess I'm leaving stuff behind. I'll definitely leave the rancid lipstick behind in the apocalypse.
But he could get all the important stuff.
I know. So I've shed a lot of things. I read that wonderful Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up.
I hate that book.
I hate that book. She's very smug.
She's very smug. It works, but I think she goes a little too extreme.
She's like, I had one client who had 48 rolls of toilet paper, and I told her, get rid of all but 3. I'm like, what?
No, you're going to
Money on the toilet paper. That's crazy.
You need
Just put it
toilet
under the
paper.
bed until you need to use it or something. I don't know. That's nuts.
No, I'm a big believer you do need like 50 rolls of toilet paper.
You never know.
Well, here's the thing. I don't want to run out.
What if there's a YouTube star that you just absolutely have to go TP their house in the middle of the night? You need that toilet paper.
Toilet paper is fine. That's something that's not going to go bad.
No, it's not going to go bad. It's
you're
ridiculous.
Gonna use it. Speaking of which, I have to buy toilet paper. But
I actually got rid of some stuff. I got rid of these weird cables because you just collect cables over your lifetime. I had all these cables in a box, and I was just like, I don't know what these are for, and they have weird connectors. What is this weird connector? And I threw them all away. And then recently, I have all these old hard drives, and I'm like, man, I know there's information on these hard drives that I would love to share with some friends of mine. And I go to get the hard drives. I'm like, where the hell are these? Oh my God. Those are firewire cables I threw away. That's that weird connector thing was a firewire cable. But true to her point, it cost me $30 to go on Amazon and replace them.
Yeah. I mean, anyways.
Digressing. I'm sorry.
Products expired won't kill you. You can figure out if it's bad or not.
Products expired won't kill you. And if you use a product that's past its expiration date, you'll know. You'll know it doesn't feel good. You know it doesn't smell good. Worst case scenario, you'll know because your skin will feel uncomfortable the minute you put it on. And then you rinse it off. But that's really rare. That's really rare. In my experience, that's really rare.
I put on a lipstick where immediately, I had to go wash it off.
Me too. But that is something that's exposed.
Yeah.
To your mouth.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. Here's the thing. I think skincare and makeup are two separate things. Like skincare in a jar, what do you think? 3 months once it's opened?
They say that if you have skincare in a jar and once you've opened it and you put your fingers in it.
Well, I don't put my fingers in it.
So that's good. But just for those of you listening that do.
Don't.
20 times.
What?
If you touch it with your fingers after 20 times, it's rancid. Because these aren't clean. Think about, it's so funny. I always think about, it's the silliest thing, and I'm really dating myself. But I always think about MASH, the show MASH. Did you ever watch it?
No, because
I know Chris did.
You're even dating me.
So on the show MASH, the surgeons would scrub up, and they're in the middle of Vietnam in the war, and they would scrub their hands really, really hard, and then they would put gloves on, and then they would go into surgery. That's how important it is. Even though there's gloves on, they would scrub their hands. I don't know if they do that at the hospital. I should ask
they
Eric
do
that.
it at the hospital.
They scrub them and then they put gloves
Yeah.
on? Well, so there you go. So you don't scrub your hands like that every time you put your finger in, and you certainly don't put a glove on. So you should never put your finger in product is the point of the story.
Well,
20 times.
Okay, so this is how important it is to go and buy one of those stainless steel spatulas if you're going to have jar products.
Or you can just use a Q-tip and throw it away.
I use my spatula because it looks fancy.
That's fine. You can do that too. But you can just use a Q-tip and throw it away. I go through probably 3-4 Q-tips a day, just doing my makeup and stuff.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. So those of you guys who like the jar products or own jar products at home, don't stick your fingers in it because you only got 20 times before you have to dump that really expensive product.
Yeah. And you'll know because you open the product and it's like the ingredients have moved to the other opposite sides of the jar. You've got the oils on one side and then you've got the butters on the other, and you can see it in the jar.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's gross. I tried before I knew better when I was younger. I used to mix them back together again with my finger. And then they start smelling bad. I'm like, that's weird. I don't remember it smelling like this. Yeah, gross. But then when I went to beauty school and I learned all about, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but I learned about how bad product in jars is. I took all of my jarred expensive creams and I mixed them all together in one jar and I made a foot cream. And I only used it on my feet. But it was all my jar products that I knew were bad, but I still use it on my feet.
So when you're at Sephora or any beauty, okay, but for advice for those who go to Sephora or any beauty places,
I go in Sephora and I just get mad. I just get so angry every time I go in there. And I sometimes have a friend who's like, I need to go to Sephora.
Here's the thing: I love Sephora, but I won't touch the products. Like I won't touch the testers because it really does. First, it just creeps me out because I see people take the wand and put it on their lips and put it back in the thing.
Oh, that's another reason. Okay, put that on the list.
But that's why I'm talking about Sephora. Is like I'm all about ask for samples, ask people to make you samples, but in that situation, make sure the sample's coming from an airtight jar that's being pumped in.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because...
Yeah, those are probably fine. All those pump products. Here's what makes me mad when I go into Sephora is that a lot of professional products that are only supposed to be sold by estheticians
are being sold
in Sephora. And there's no one not that I know of, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe there's anyone with an esthetician's license who's truly knowledgeable about skincare that's making recommendations at Sephora. And I'll walk up to the counter and I'll see people buying products that I know they should not be buying in combination.
Yeah. I think that's kind of a problem in just general in terms of beauty consumerism. Like it's the brands that are educating the associates to do the sales, which is fine because you are coming from a sales aspect and you are educating about the brand and about that specific product. But I do think you need to have a background on skincare in general before you can start recommending products. And this is why I get hesitant about what products to recommend. Like I'll review products for my skin and I always say it's for my skin. And maybe if you have dry skin, you'll like it too, but it's my skin. Like I can't really, and I think there's this thing where like now I've kind of become known for skincare, which makes me really uncomfortable because I don't have a license. I'm not a licensed esthetician. I think you should go see a licensed esthetician at minimum every season. I know some people can't afford it, but at minimum every season.
Once a year, if you can go once a year, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And if you could go once a year and you have a relationship with an esthetician, I mean, I have lots of clients who see me once a year, some twice a year. But in between times, if they have a problem, they can call me or they can text me and say, this is what's going on. I mean, honestly, from this podcast, from the first one, I now have 3 clients. Hi, if you're listening, who I consult with via Facebook and sell them product. And I have one of them, I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names. I have one of them who's even had other challenges that she's been like, I have this weird thing going on. And she described it to me. And so I sent her a picture. I'm like, does it look like this? And she's like, oh my God, it looks exactly like that. And I said, this is what it is. And just go see a doctor. You need to go see a doctor. And I said, because I could be wrong. I'm not a doctor, but I was right.
But I think that's very important that, like, one, I'm like, look, I get exposed to a lot of great information. One, you're my friend. So if someone asks me something and I'm kind of like, wait, I don't know, I'll ask you. And then I'll be like, hey, this might be what it is, but you should still see a professional. And you're the same. Like, even though you are licensed, you work with skin, you have knowledge.
I called the manufacturer that I work with today. And I said, hi, I'm doing that podcast again. I have one question. Uh-huh. And then I asked my one question, and well, when we get to that, I'll get to that. But yeah, I called them. I'm like, I think I only have one question. I picked their brain for about 3-4 minutes, and then I hung up. But yeah, I call them all the time.
I think that's the important thing is like people who are like us, like where we truly want to help people, like we'll give you our advice, but we also know when we shouldn't and when we should tell you to go see someone.
Well, and that's the thing that is frustrating for me about the people that work in makeup counters or at Sephora or whatever. And I don't want to say I'm Sephora. There's this really awesome perfume in a stick that's kind of shiny. I think it's by Michael Kors. It's so sexy.
Oh, yeah.
And it's in a little tiny, it looks like a deodorant thing. And I have bought that from Sephora. Thank you, Sephora. I love it. It's like a shimmery and it smells
totally
good. And I can put it in my purse.
Yeah.
And I can be in the bathroom and then I can go back out to whatever I'm doing. I love it.
No, here's the thing. I love Sephora. I'm like a VIB Rouge till next year because I spend so much money there. I think the employees there are really friendly, really helpful when I want them to be, but I would never trust their skincare advice 100%. In fact, I don't ask them for help, and I don't want help, not because I don't believe that they know what they're saying. It's just I'm very specific, and I want to look at the ingredients myself. Like, I want to know what I'm buying. And a lot of the times they don't know what the inactive ingredients or the active ingredients are. They just know what they're told.
So they've been taught how to sell a product.
Yeah.
And the difference between myself and people who are salespeople for beauty is, of course I want to sell you products. It's part of the way I make money. But the most important thing to me, and there's no Hippocratic oath for estheticians, but there should be, is the most important thing to me is that you get better and you have the skin you want, and whatever is going on with you, that you have healthy, beautiful skin. So, I mean, I really shouldn't be announcing this, but I mean, I do free consultations all the time.
Yeah. It was kind of one of those things where because people would want, after the first podcast you were on, people wanted to ask you more, wanted to contact you, or they're LA based and they wanted to know, or they want to drive out here for you. And I was like, why don't you just contact her? And that's the thing. It's like, you really are pretty available. Like, you travel all the time and you're still very available.
I travel and I shipped product while I was in Spain.
Yeah.
To a customer.
So,
which is really cool that the line that I work with is set up that I can do that.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, you truly can get a consultation from Carrie. I think we should say, like, you'll limit it to like 5-10 minutes at this point, because you might
what
get
I
a
do
flood.
is it's all over. It's usually over chat on Facebook.
Yeah.
So if you can find me at Wax Poetic Salon, and I'm sure Serein will
We'll
include
link it.
the link. But if you ask me questions, but I have people ask me questions about a particular skincare line that they love and they really want to use, and I said, I'm sorry, but I can't endorse it. I can't answer the question. I'm not a cosmetic chemist. I could go through and read all the ingredients, and for some people I did go through and say, this is why I don't like it. But if I end up getting a lot of people doing that, I'm not going to spend my time endorsing another line that I do not work with and I don't know, because I don't think that's responsible for me. I mean, unless I have a relationship with the formulator and I could talk to them and say, look, these are my concerns. You got to explain to me why you did this. Mm-hmm. Like, I looked up that. I asked you what we might talk about.
Okay, so here's the thing. We're going to segue to another little topic, because Carrie asked me what we want to talk about. And here's the thing. I get on daily around 5 requests to try the skincare line, The Ordinary. And this is a brand new to the market, not necessarily brand new lab, but brand new to the market skincare line that is really affordable. They're marketing themselves as a no fuss, like to the point, effective skincare line. And when you guys requested it the first time, I asked Carrie if she could look at the ingredients for me and see is this really something that I want to waste my time and energy on.
So it's pretty funny, because you wrote me a text and said, I said, what are we going to talk about? And you're like, we'll just chat. It'll be casual. And I'm like, yeah, but is there anything specific we're going to talk about? And she's like, just ordinary skincare. And I'm like, what's ordinary skincare? I mean, like drugstore? Like, what do you mean? And she's like, no, it's called that. And I'm like, oh.
And I was like, it's the brand that I had.
And you had sent it to me before.
Yeah, because
you sent me a specific product, I think, and I looked up that product.
I just copied and pasted a link, because here's the thing. I got so many requests about checking out this brand, and there's a reason I haven't, and it's because I'm very, very picky with my skincare. My skin has gotten to a point where it's very happy with me. So I have to be careful what I am willing and will not try. And I still use acids occasionally, despite Carrie's against acid.
How often do you use them?
If anything, once a week.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And what are you using?
I can't even tell you, because I don't remember the last acid I put on my face.
I am still your esthetician.
I know she's
even though I haven't given you a facial in a long time, I still think of myself as your esthetician. So I'm going to ask you these questions.
I know, she asked me these. It's like, what did you do?
Are you using sunblock?
That's always happening.
Okay, good.
I'm always fine with that. But the thing is, if there's a new brand like this that I get constantly asked about, I'm like, it is my job to try things, but I looked at it. It didn't seem that interesting. It seemed like a little bit more of a marketing ploy. And just because it's affordable and that they say that it's to the point, it's based on science, though, is correct. It reminded me a lot about someone like Paula's Choice. So I asked Carrie, and Carrie texted me.
What an annoying thing to say. It's based on science that is correct. That's not even the definition of science. Science is a study.
Well, and
it's a study of something that can be proven and disproven all the time.
Which we talked about, yeah.
Makes me crazy. Based on science, it is correct. I think there's even a skincare line called Correct Skincare, isn't there?
I don't know, I'm sure.
I'm sure there is. Or at least there was a while ago. So I went to this Ordinary skincare line, which I love that it's called Ordinary. I totally expected, if it's called Ordinary Skincare Line, and this is why I can never do product reviews. This is why I will always be somebody who...
Because every brand would put you on a blacklist.
I mean, I will always have to be somebody who doesn't have a brand that I represent. I mean, other than the brand that I work with. And I suppose it's possible. Like, you've said so many wonderful things about organic pharmacy.
Yeah.
That I think I would actually look at their stuff if they sent it to me.
Really?
And that's a big thing for me.
That's a huge thing.
Because I get free, so silly. When you're traveling... And you're like, especially Vegas, you walk through any hotel in Vegas, and there's always some really slick, very attractive man or woman. Usually it's a man that would be approaching me.
Yeah.
And they're like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, you're going to give me a skincare sample. That's what they're doing. And they go, here's a night cream you can try tonight. I'm like, I don't want it. I'm an esthetician. That's why I don't want it. But it happened to me in Spain. It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought, okay, ordinary skincare. It's going to be really basic. That's what I thought.
It's not.
Oh my God.
It's full of chemicals.
2% advanced retinoid, niacinamide 10% plus zinc 1%. So niacinamide means it's going to increase your circulation and probably make your skin red. And that's what niacin does, is make your skin red. Maybe I'm wrong with the niacinamide, but I'm pretty sure that's what it does. Vitamin C suspension 23% plus HA spheres. It's got to be hyaluronic acid spheres. 2%? I don't know. I've never even heard of that before. Vitamin C in a suspension of hyaluronic acid spheres. I bet you that's those little balls that go in skincare, that go in products. They're cute. Ascorbyl glucoside solution, 12%. Ascorbyl tetrapalmate solution, 20% in vitamin F. This is nothing simple or ordinary about this. These are very complex molecules.
Not just
lactic acid, azelaic acid, glycolic acid, alpha hydroxy acid, benzoyl BHA, so beta hydroxy acid, salicylic acid.
Is this all in one product?
I don't know. These are just their ingredient lists that I took today.
You just listed 8 acids.
Lactic acid, alpha 10%, because they also have 5%. They also have an alpha lipoic acid 5%. Hyaluronic acid, cold pressed rosehip seed oil, which I know a lot of people really like.
I like.
Some people probably can't use it.
Okay. But I like that. So
cold pressed Moroccan argan oil, which I know a lot of people love argan oil.
I can't use argan oil. I break out from argan oil.
Cold pressed virgin marula oil, which I haven't yet tried. High adherence silicone primer. I suppose it's in their makeup.
So silicone.
High spreadability fluid. Natural moisturizing factors. What's that? 100%. That's just funny. Natural moisturizing factors. Petroleum is a natural product, by the way. Comes right out of the earth. Completely from nature. Completely not processed. Petroleum is an unprocessed product. Not putting it on my face. 100% plant-derived squalene. Now, I have used squalene on my face before, and I've done very well with that.
Yeah.
Matrixyl 10%, alpha. Anyway, the point. There's one product that's called an HA buffet. No idea. Caffeine 5%. The point is there's nothing ordinary about these very complex molecules. I honestly thought it was going to have like avocado oil and
squalene and hyaluronic acid.
Yeah, I mean, but even hyaluronic acid is a debatable.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like when you read that list of ingredients,
that's a crazy list of ingredients for ordinary.
And those ingredients aren't. I'll use lactic acid like maybe in one of my ingredients twice a week because I do like the way it makes my skin look. But if somebody who isn't reading the ingredients and is trusting the marketing and trusting the branding of this, let's say they buy the cleanser that has an acid, then they buy a toner that has an acid, then they buy the serum, the anti-aging serum, because they don't want to have wrinkles, but they're not realizing that that's another acid. And I have a breakout, so let me buy the breakout treatment. I know that one has an acid, but it's okay because everything else seems to be ordinary. Let me buy the moisturizer that the first ingredient is dimethicone. So why am I hydrating my skin with dimethicone?
Yeah, I didn't see dimethicone on here, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, that was the text we were having between each other.
So here's what was weird. I didn't have the time to go through this, but if you click on each one of these ingredients, they're going to give you their opinion about what that ingredient does and why they have it in their product. Mm-hmm. I have these are a lot of acids and a lot of things that can cause a lot of irritation and inflammation and...
Sorry, I'm like checking my dog's diaper. Sorry.
So funny. So I don't know in what combination any of these things are.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that when you click these individual ingredients, it'll tell you their take on what this ingredient does.
Well, here's the thing. Lactic acid, any acid will make your skin look great for the immediate timing. But like Carrie mentioned in the first episodes, acid through time, it's causing inflammation. Any inflammation that you're actually causing to yourself is bad. Like inflammation is why people have health problems. It's why people have cancer. It's why people are in the hospital. They never want anything to be causing the inflammation. So yes, there's natural inflammation that's going to happen in your body, but I don't think the answer is adding more inflammation.
Well, and none of these ingredients, nowhere on this list that I see titanium dioxide or zinc.
which
So,
would be the only.
what are you doing when you're applying all these acids to your face? What are you doing to then protect your skin after that?
And that's the other thing. Don't use acids during the day. Remember to use them at night sparingly, and then protect your skin from the sun with a physical SPF.
Correct.
Which would be zinc or titanium dioxide.
I met someone the other day for the first time. She's allergic to titanium dioxide.
Well, so she can use zinc though.
Yeah, and she said she does.
Yeah, because here's.
But I didn't sell her any acids. I wouldn't.
Well,
she didn't ask me for any. She already is using one. And when she told me she was already using a retinol, I'm like, please tell me you're using a sunblock. And it's actually a physical sunblock. But I didn't see her sunblock. But I'm also not selling her the retinol. So I can't do anything about what people do on their own.
Yeah.
But I will not sell someone any kind of acid or retinol. I really don't sell acids anymore. I have an enzyme and I have a mild retinol. But I won't sell it to anyone unless they are using a sunblock. And I know and I've seen it.
You've seen their sunblock.
Preferably mine. But if not mine, I need to see it and I need to know that it's a physical block. I won't sell it to them. Because in my opinion, then I'm doing something that's going to cause them harm.
Well, yeah, because it's actually causing more harm to use a chemical sunblock and acids than for you to not wear any sunblock at all. Right? Was the science
Well, if
behind
you're
it?
using an acid of any kind, you should be wearing a physical sunblock.
Well, yeah.
But if you're not using any acids and you're not using a sunblock, then that's better than using a sunscreen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you don't use any acids and you use a sunscreen, that's not good for you. But if you don't use, I'm confusing myself now. So the point is that if you don't use any acids and you use a sunscreen, you're worse off than if you used no sunscreen at all.
Sunscreen meaning chemical.
Meaning like, I don't know all the names of them, but not titanium dioxide or zinc. So there's like PABA and
there's an
avobenzone.
And an O something awesome.
Octobenzone maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I should know the name of sunscreens. When I see them on the bottle, I recognize them. But if it's not titanium dioxide or zinc, that's the only thing we know as of now that is a physical block.
Now, I got a couple questions, and I didn't ask you this, but I'm just thinking of it now, where in European countries, their chemical sunblocks have become way more effective, is what they're saying?
Yeah,
or,
they are saying that.
Yeah, so what is that? What does that technically mean?
I don't know if I buy that. I was at a class once, and this guy was in the class, and he kept saying, you know, I've created a clear zinc, and we're all like, whatever, like this is ridiculous. And then he passed it out, and we all tried it, and we said, if this really is zinc and it's clear, you're a billionaire.
Yeah.
Because people hate people hate that white chalky
Yeah.
look. So the line that I work with, they put a little bit of tint in it, so it's almost more like makeup.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if it was going to be called Zinc Clear, and I haven't seen it. And I would think that I'd see it at beauty trade shows and stuff. So I don't know if the guy was full of it or whatever, but like there's always talk of a clear zinc that it's going to exist.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
So, at least for now.
And there is some titanium dioxide and zinc products that have dimethicone in them.
Well, most of them do for
lot of
that
them do.
feeling to kind of counteract that chalky feeling. So here's my thing. I avoid silicones in my actual skincare, and especially if it's a hydrating product. Like, I'm not going to put anything that says it's moisturizing my face that the first few ingredients is dimethicone or silicone. But it's impossible for me to find a foundation
I know.
without silicone.
But here's the thing. If you're really taking good care of your skin, you can probably get away with that.
Well, and I find that it's fine as long as I do my skincare without it, as long as I hydrate without it, and then like the last step, which is my SPF with a silicone in it, because I personally like the way it feels better than just.
And I've gotten some samples from you of SPF that has silicone in it, and yeah, I like the way it feels too.
It's nice,
But
so,
it's my like you said, it's my last step.
yeah.
And I don't use it every day. And I know
So-
you said the same thing, that you don't use it every day.
Yeah, so that's why I recommend like avoid it when you can, and then obviously switch when you can't.
Yeah.
Like, because I wear foundation like half of my week, so it's gonna have silicone in it. So avoid it when you can. So I actually asked my viewers or listeners to send in questions for you
via Instagram. That
via
was cool.
Instagram. So if you guys don't know, Behind the Beauty podcast actually has an Instagram account, and it's called behind.the.beauty.podcast. And we'll be doing that. Plus, we have Insta Story that whenever we're filming a podcast, we get some cool info. So the first question we have, let me see. What's your opinion of the new Neutrogena light therapy mask? Does it even compare to the true blue light therapy offered at the skincare clinic?
So I'm so glad. This is the reason why I asked Serena, I'm like, can we please have questions? Because I do not keep up with what's going on in skincare in the mass market. I choose to focus on treatments for my clients and the line that I recommend. I want to understand it inside and out. And I just started doing a new treatment, which maybe we'll talk about. We'll see. But it's probably just going to come out right now. When I was at the last trade show in June in Vegas, which is like the biggest aesthetic show in the country, I think, and even one of the biggest in the world. Although there's some other ones like in France and Italy that I've always wanted to go to and I've never gone. But I think I need a translator. So I go to the one in Vegas, and I looked at the blue and red lights because, yeah, I mean,
I swear by my blue light when I have a pimple, by the way.
Who's it by?
Tria.
Oh, I saw that mentioned today when I was doing my research, but I didn't read about it.
It actually works because I don't use acids on it.
Is it a wand or a tool?
It's a tool. You charge it. It's blue light. I just zap it. Like, it's made for people with acne to do 5 minutes a day all over their face. But when I have one breakout, I just sit there with it, and it gets rid of it like overnight.
Okay, so how much is that device? Do you know?
I don't know. It was gifted.
Okay. Well, and it's a tool.
Yeah.
That you move across the face.
Well, I don't. I just zap it.
Right. You zap a particular thing. Okay. So what the blue light does is it's a vasoconstrictor. So it works on mild to moderate inflammation and bacteria. The blue light that I would recommend, the only one I'd recommend, has 415 to 420 nanometer wavelengths to generate oxygen. The oxygen penetrates in the pores, and bacteria cannot exist in an oxygen-rich environment. That's why your pimple goes away.
Oh.
So the blue light forces oxygen into the skin, and then that bacteria can't exist. So it goes away. Blue light kills bacteria.
Yeah, that's why I like.
But the question is it the right wavelength, and is it the right strength, and all of that? So I don't know that one, and I'm glad you say it works. So you have to just charge it.
I have to charge it. Yeah.
Okay, that's it though. Do you have to buy anything else for it?
No, but they do say like it only lasts so many, and then you have to kind of replace the unit.
Oh, they do. How long is it supposed to last?
I don't know the exact specs.
Then how do you know it's not working anymore?
For me, I could probably tell because it's hot.
Yeah, I mean, they're LED lights, aren't they?
Yeah, but I feel heat. Like.
So I went and looked up the Neutrogena mask, and there's what they call an activator. So that, as an esthetician, I'm like, activator, what is it? And I see this mask with this like tube, or it could be like an electric cord, and it goes to this activator. And I thought, first thought I had was, oh, those sneaky people, they're putting product on the face.
Are they really?
Nope. But that's what I thought.
It's to the battery pack.
Right, but they called it an activator.
No, it's batteries.
Right, it's a battery pack. But when it says the word activator, I'm like, oh, they're putting product. So I was searching. I'm like, what's in this activator? What's in this activator? No, it's not. It's not product at all. But I thought that's what it was because they called it an activator. And in my world, that's product. Something active. No, it's a battery pack. And after 30 uses, you got to buy another one.
Yeah. So what the Neutrogena...
That's pretty sneaky.
The Neutrogena mask reminds me of this one it was this mask that used to be around. It's gone now. It's the Illumi mask or something. I actually used to use it because it's red light therapy for anti-wrinkles or wrinkle aging or whatever. But you would have to wear it for 15 minutes every day for 30 days consecutively. And that battery pack only lasts 30 uses. And then you have to replace it. And you have to use their battery pack, which is like kind of...
I couldn't go down this rabbit hole, but there was a bunch of comments about, couldn't we just figure out how to open up the activator and replace the batteries ourselves?
They made it so that you.
I'm sure you can't.
Yeah.
Because they're using some wacky battery.
Yeah.
But that's kind of jive. So that's kind of sneaky of Neutrogena.
I mean, it's not like, I guess because I'm used to seeing it. Like I've seen this before, so I think it's just.
It's
like,
also
they're
red and blue light in one mask, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't seen the Neutrogena.
I think I saw it. I think it was red and blue light in one mask. So, red light. Red light therapy initiates a complex series of events. The cells in the body react to the light energy by releasing nitric oxide and stimulate blood flow and circulation. In this process, new collagen is created. That's how the red light works. As we age, the amount of collagen and elastin produced in our skin starts to slow down and cause wrinkles. And so one of the keys to anti-aging is to bring collagen and elastin back into the dermis. Red light therapy is based on technology developed by NASA to heal wounds. That's where it came from. And there are several decades of research, lots in Europe and Russia, and that they have shown that red light therapy is also effective in treating age spots, hair loss, weak nails, muscle strain, inflammation, mild pain, and more. So from what I've understood and read, the depth of the red light wavelength is key. And I've considered purchasing a red light therapy device, and the only one that, from what I've read, has the correct wavelength and energy is the Baby Quasar. It's a cute name, too. And the Baby Quasar uses a combination of red, amber, and infrared light. They have a unit called the Baby Quasar. They have one that's red and one that's blue. And then they have a pro version or a MD version, which is the one I would get.
If you get that, I'll be at your house every day.
And for the MD version, it's like $600 each one. They have a home use one called Clear Rays for acne. And it's $249, and it comes with a blue light and a red light. So there's two different devices. Mm-hmm. And their Clear Rays for acne device, they claim together or one or the other, actually. The red light reduces inflammation. It has a 5-year, no questions warranty, 90-day money-back guarantee, and it's $249 for both devices.
How is it so affordable?
Because they're an ethical company.
Okay.
You don't ever have to buy another battery pack or activator. That's just what it costs. So I am open to sponsorship, Baby Quasar, if you'd like to sponsor me, because I believe in your product. I think it's great. I just chose last year not to buy it, and I was so close. But I ended up buying microneedling instead.
Oh.
So that's what I'm doing. We should do a microneedling treatment sometime.
I'm scared.
You don't need it. It hurts.
I know.
A little bit.
Okay, so I'm going to digress again, and Chris is going to kill me because we're probably running out of time. But, so I'm deathly afraid of needles, and I don't like pain, and I think I have a low pain tolerance. So when I went to go get my tattoo, I like mildly freaked out in front of him, and he was just like, seriously? Like, you are afraid of needles and you're getting a tattoo? And I'm like, yes.
Do you have a tattoo?
No.
I have one.
You have one?
Actually, I technically have two.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've never noticed. But so I'm getting my tattoo.
You look at it all the time.
Where? Your brows.
No.
What?
I did my lash line.
You did your lash line?
I love it. It's the best.
That hurts.
It's so painful. It is so incredibly painful.
I cannot
I have a
imagine
friend
someone
who
doing
has
their
like,
lash
I
line.
swear, like 60 to 80% of his body is covered in tattoos. And he called me up one day and I just left getting my lash line done. It's really subtle, isn't it?
Yeah, but how the hell are they
Oh, it's so
tattooing
painful. And so he just called me and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I just left this appointment. I just got my lash line tattooed. He's like, what? And I said, yeah, in between my eyelashes. It's called a lash enhancement. He's like, are you out of your mind? You tattooed your eyeline? And I was like, dude, you have tattoos on most of your body. He's like, not my eyeline. No, it's extraordinarily painful.
I would never, no.
But I love it. I've done it like 3 times.
Where else do you have it? Did you do your
That's
lips?
it. I just meant 2 because there's 2 eyes.
Okay.
No, I've never done my lips because it freaks me out. I wish I could do my lips, but there's so much bleeding and it's just whoa.
There's bleeding involved?
Oh, your lips are so much. I mean, the reason why your lips are red is there's so much blood in her face. There's so much blood. I studied to become a permanent makeup artist. I didn't enjoy it.
So I'm freaking out in front of this guy, and he was just like, you're going to be fine. It doesn't hurt that bad. And I'm like, no, it will. And then I'm like, well, I've had laser hair removal. And he's like, yeah, you're fine.
You're fine. You could do microneedling. You've had laser hair removal? You'll be fine with microneedling.
And then I remembered, oh, yeah, I went to the dermatologist's office before I met you. every 3 weeks to get my moles removed, like to get like little
Did they
freckles.
freeze them?
No, they did the zapping.
Oof.
And that was one of those, like, I would have to tell her to stop at some point because especially like around my mouth and eyes, that repeated zapping.
I have an esthetician friend who I trade with, and I trained her how to do microneedling, and so we do our trade. I've done like 3, I think. I think my skin looks great.
Your skin always looks good though.
But I think I look like 3 years younger now.
Let's see how young we can make me look.
You don't really need it. I don't feel like you need microneedling, but I think it'd be an interesting thing for you to experience.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it for a video. I would do it to show people what it is.
Well, but it would be what I do.
Well, that's
not what everybody does.
Oh, well, it's.
I know people that go to spas and they don't do nearly what I'm doing in a microneedling treatment, but they're charging more than I charge.
You're a very fair esthetician.
I am. But also, here's the thing. Like, I do ultrasound before I do microneedling because I feel like you're coming into me to get a facial. I should do a deep cleansing of your skin first and get your skin kind of stimulated and ready for the microneedling. Like, I kind of think of all the cells in the skin as just kind of like hanging out like all the time. They're just like, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. I don't know. You want to watch something? I don't know. You want a soda? Like, I feel like they just hang out and do nothing. And when I give someone an ultrasound facial, then the cells are like, wait, what's happening? Oh, someone wants to talk to us. Oh, this is exciting. And all the cells like pay attention. And then I'm like cleansing the skin and the cells are like, oh, bye, Bob. Oh, Bob's been asleep for a while. No, he wasn't asleep. Bob was dead. Oh, well, Bob's going, bye, Bob. Because like there's all these dead cells that just hang out on your face. And I feel like then I do ultrasound and then they leave. And they're like, oh, there goes Nancy. You know, Nancy's been dead for like a month. And all these cells are leaving. And then all these new cells are like, oh my God, who's this little guy? He's so cute. He's been under Nancy the whole time, but nobody knew he was even there. And all the cells just start talking and like getting to know each other and they're all paying attention. And then I put growth factors on and then I needle them in. And the cells are like, whoa, what's going on? And then all these growth factors go in and all these new cells start coming up. And they're like, oh my God, we have so many friends. And it's just this crazy thing. Now, I've created all these little microchannels in the face to put all these growth factors in, and all these needles keep pushing them in. The way I do microneedling, I probably do, oh my God, there's probably like 10,000 microperforations in your skin when I do it. It's a lot.
That sounds really painful.
But they're really tiny. Maybe 10,000 is too many. I don't know. I can't really count them. It all goes so fast. But when you're done, I put on a sterile mask that then calms your skin down and makes everything calm and relaxed. And you sit like that for 30 minutes. And I hear about a lot of places where you just get your microneedling and then you walk out the door.
But then your face is exposed to the pollution. God.
That is so dangerous to me. That just hurts my heart. Because you just put, if you did it right, you put a lot of little microperforations in the skin, and the skin needs to calm down. I even wish that I could do all my microneedling at dusk, you know, when the sun's going down. Because after the mask, I can't even put a sunblock on you. I can't.
Are you serious?
You can't put anything on the rest of the day. So anyone I give microneedling to, and I don't advertise it. I don't do it very much. I only do it for people that I really know because it is an intense treatment. And I tell them, you can't put makeup on the rest of the day. You can't do anything. You're going to go to bed. That's it.
Well, if I get a facial, I won't put makeup on. Like,
I generally give someone a facial during the day. If it's just a regular facial, I'll put sunblock on them. But I can't even put sunblock on, not after microneedling.
Wow. So
the point is that I didn't buy the Quasar machine because I bought microneedling instead. But it's something I'll definitely look at again.
I'll give you money. Will you buy me the Quasar machine? Or is that like illegal?
You can buy a baby Quasar.
Okay, I'll buy a baby Quasar.
Baby Quasar and the Quasar MD are very, very similar. It's just that the baby Quasar is like, let's say it's like this big around the machine.
Will you send me the link?
And the Quasar, it's babyquasar.com.
Yeah, you know how I am with names.
All right, it's fine. But the MD is just a bigger surface area. So for an esthetician,
it's faster.
You're able to, move faster.
Okay, guys. Come back for next week's episode to hear all of the other questions. And of course, I'm sure you'll get more knowledge. But yeah, so just check back for next week's episode where we're going to start right back from where we're leaving off right now.